All versions of Goku versus all versions of Superman Part 5. If you haven't seen the other 4 parts yet, it doesn't really matter if you did or didn't. This is not a continuation. I'm just gonna go over a few of the things that I have missed. Now, with the other 4 parts, WebCamParrot was a huge help, and now he has his own YouTube channel, so please go check it out. I highly recommend you check out his video ranking all the S-Class heroes in One Punch Man. Now, a lot of people asked me why Superman Prime 1 million wasn't in my all versions of Goku versus all versions of Superman video series. Well, the problem with Superman Prime 1 million is he's pretty featless. A lot of people think he created an entire universe because he said to the atom, "Welcome to my universe." But that doesn't prove he created it. If I told someone, "Welcome to my house," that doesn't mean I built it. Yes, I do use both feats and statements, but this is not a statement, it's just Superman saying hello. Some people believe he brought Lois Lane back to life, but Hourman was the one doing most of, if not all the work. I've also heard people say that Superman Prime 1 million has the power of all of his descendants. And considering one of his descendants is half 5th dimensional imp, that would give him 5th dimensional power, right? Well, you see, Superman Prime 1 million actually gave solar energy to his descendants. He didn't take power from them, he gave power to them, which is not the same thing at all. And there's so many more fake feats about Superman Prime 1 million, but I don't have time to go over every single one. That being said, he is still really powerful. He spent 15,000 years inside the sun. Granted, the amount of energy the sun gives Superman is very inconsistent, but the general rule is it gives Superman 3 times the energy every 15 minutes. However, it's not a multiplier. If he spends 15 minutes in the sun, he will be 15 times as powerful, but if he spends another 15 minutes, he's not going to be 9 times as powerful. So every 7.5 minutes he's in the sun, he gets another Superman added to his own power. Just imagine Golden Age, Silver Age, or Post-Crisis Superman, who all relatively have the same power level, spending 15,000 years inside the sun, and then getting a Green Lantern ring on top of that. So I believe that Superman Prime 1 million ranks somewhere in the 4th part of the all versions of Goku versus all versions of Superman videos. I definitely put Superman Prime 1 million above regular Superman 1 million, but I put him lower than Superboy Prime. But what about 100-year time skip GT Goku? I did bash Superman Prime 1 million a lot for not having too many concrete feats, but 100-year time skip GT Goku has even less feats than Superman Prime 1 million. Considering that GT Goku in his base form was just as strong as Super Saiyan 3 Goku at the end of Dragon Ball Z, and that was just with 15 years of training, I would definitely put Goku after 100 years of training above Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta in his base form. And it's also heavily implied that Goku at the end of GT fused with the Dragon Balls, it's not 100% clear, which might give him all the elemental abilities of the Dark Dragons, and the ability to grant wishes like Shenron. But even if Goku gave himself, say, immortality, it still wouldn't be enough to beat every single version of Superman. If the Super Dragon can't make someone completely immortal, then Shenron definitely can't make someone completely immortal. But it would give Goku a crazy healing factor. Not quite low-tier god regeneration, but still pretty good. And I would also put this version of Goku in the Part 4 video of all versions of Goku versus all versions of Superman. I'm just going to give him and Superman Prime 1 million the same rank. Featless piece of crap. Now I'm going to talk about 3 different versions of Superman that I said would be in the all versions of Goku versus all versions of Superman video series, but I ended up cutting them from the final project. Let's start with Smallville Superman. From the comics, not the TV show. The comic is a continuation of the TV show, and in the comic series, Smallville Superman does become a Green Lantern, and he also has a universal feat. Now in the Part 4 video of all versions of Goku versus all versions of Superman, there were several different versions of Superman who had universal to universal plus feats, but they were all getting slapped by Super Saiyan God Goku left and right. So Smallville Superman would have just been another body on the pile. But if we include the feat where Smallville Superman headbutted a monitor and actually did damage to him, then this would just be another version of Superman that could slap every single version of Goku. But I don't know for sure if the monitors in the Smallville series are just as strong as the monitors in the regular DC universe, and I was already including so many different versions of Superman that I just decided to leave it out. As for Parallax Superman, well, he lost a fight to Sinestro. Now, I do believe Superman was holding back Parallax's power so he wouldn't hurt anyone, but still, he didn't show up for too long, so it's really hard to judge just how powerful he is. So I thought it would be best if I just cut him from the video. For Super Doom, who's a fusion between Superman and Doomsday, or Super Brainy Doom, who's a fusion between Superman, Doomsday, and a virus from Brainiac, well, I want to give them their own video. I always wanted to start an animated series kind of like Death Battle, and I want to do Super Doomsday versus the fusion of Goku and Vegeta. Vagiga Magigagagog. I think I pronounced it right this time. Now for the last version of Goku I missed. The big one. God Fusion 4D Goku. Now I know this version of Goku isn't canon, but as I said before, a version of Goku or Superman doesn't have to be canon for me to use it. They just have to be officially licensed. That being said, I think God Fusion 4D Goku is completely overrated. So the reason why people believe 4D God Fusion's Goku is above people like Cosmic Armored Superman and Milkman Man Superman is because Cosmic Armored Superman has some fourth wall awareness. He can tell when the reader is moving the comic book page. And Milkman Man has entered the real world and forced people to drink his narrative milk. But 4D God Fusion's Goku has even more fourth wall awareness. In fact, he fused with the audience himself, causing him to go beyond the fourth wall. However, he is pretty featless. In fact, this fourth wall feat really doesn't prove anything. For one thing, from people to Mr. Mixelplicklick to Batmite to Fat Albert to Homer Simpson to the Smurfs to live-action Sonic, entering the real world doesn't really mean anything. At best, I would say it would give you an extra dimension, and that's about it. But I hate to break it to you guys, the, real world exists in the third dimension. It's not infinite dimensional or beyond infinite dimensional or anything like that. You have to look at author's intent. The 4D God Fusion's Goku movie was made as a cute little gimmick, not to show how powerful Goku is. But if you want to just ignore that, you also should look at context. In the DC universe, there's the multiverse, bleed space, God sphere, monitor sphere, the source, and so on and so forth. Redcon Corp can delete the entire DC universe if they wanted to, and that includes the Presence, who's considered to be the god of the DC universe. But they can't remove Milkman Man. In other words, he's beyond continuity itself. Don't get me wrong, the Dragon Ball universe is impressive. It is a small multiverse, and those universes are more than universes. They're macrocosms. So I guess you could say it's a small cluster of multi-macrocosms. And it has alternate timelines on top of all of that. But that's nothing compared to what the DC universe has. And the other arguments I've heard about 4D God Fusion's Goku are just, well, just plain stupid.
Grant Morrison or any other writer for DC Comics could go and visit this attraction and fuse with Goku.
Now that I've went over all the different versions of Goku and Superman that I missed, I'm going to be going over a few of the more common complaints people have made about my video series. So a lot of people complain that I didn't believe Super Saiyan God Blue Goku Kaioken times 10 was faster than time. Yes, I did bring up a statement from the mango, but that same statement wasn't made in the anime. Well, here's the thing, guys. One, none of this will change any of the placements of any of the versions of Goku and Superman. The version of Superman that was above him was Superboy Prime, who fought against the living embodiment of the end of time, which would also make him faster than time. The reason why Superboy Prime defeated so many different versions of Goku is because he's an infinite multiversal buster. So all this would do is help him not get speed blitzed, but he still doesn't have the attack power or durability to deal with Superboy Prime. I did also used to believe that Goku, when he fought against Hit for the first time, was faster than time. But now I believe he was just warping space and time to a very small extent. Here's why. In the Tournament of Power, Jiren was caught in Hit's time coffin. Jiren is obviously way more powerful than Hit, but he had a lot of trouble breaking out of the time coffin. That's because the time coffin stops time on a specific person. But the time skip doesn't do that, it just, well, skips someone forward in time. This is just my interpretation, but if you interpret it differently, that's fine, it still doesn't change any of the placements on my list, so People also brought up Grand Priest Goku from Dragon Ball Heroes. He doesn't change really anything on the list, he's 5th dimensional at best. In fact, that was very common. Pretty much every single argument people brought up against me really didn't change anything about the list. But hey, just remember this, I don't think I'm the be-all end-all. So if you think I highballed a certain version of Goku or lowballed a certain version of Superman, you can make your own list. After this video, in the future, I am going to be doing an all versions of Goku versus all versions of Superman part 6, where I'm going to do a comment comeback. Answering a few questions people have, maybe changing my mind on certain things, and laughing at the really dumb comments. But before then, I'm going to be going over one more thing people have complained about. The whole movement speed versus travel speed thing. A lot of people brought this up, especially in my part 3 of all versions of Goku versus all versions of Superman video. Which was really weird because it was the one video where I used travel speed for both Goku and Superman. I understand that travel speed and combat speed are different. For example, just because Aang can react to a lightning bolt being fired at him, it doesn't mean he can travel as fast as a lightning bolt. So yeah, reaction speed doesn't really correlate to travel speed. However, I do think the opposite is true. I believe if someone is as fast as a lightning bolt, they probably can react to the speed of a lightning bolt. In my humble opinion. Every time I use a speed feat for Superman, it's a travel speed feat, and not really a combat speed feat. I did bring up both travel and combat speed feats for Goku, so I'll just have to find a combat speed feat for Superman. Well, the good news is I did find one, and it's from Wonder Woman, who Superman somewhat power scales to. This combat speed feat can be used for Golden Age Superman and all the different versions of Superman above him. Now, this is not from Golden Age Wonder Woman, but as you guys know, I've already explained that Golden Age Superman, Silver Age Superman, and Post-Crisis Superman all scale to one another. Wonder Woman was fighting this shattered god dude, who called pieces of himself from the edges of the universe, and they arrived to him in mere seconds. You know how New 52 Superman crossed the universe in 60 days? Well, that's nothing compared to this. If Superman can keep up with her combat speed, then I'm pretty sure he can keep up with Goku's combat speed. Now before I end this video off, I do realize that I am late on filling out my Patreon promises. So next video is going to be a Patreon request video. If you donate $10 or more to me on Patreon, you too can make a video request. So don't forget to request me a video on Patreon, and also don't forget what you want me to shout out.
My eyes have seen the glory of the cleansing of YouTube, debunking SJWs and feminazis too. We criticize reactionists in hopes they get the boot. Just a robot marches on.